Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Coaches on a Mission. I'm your host, Dallas Travers. This is where you're going to get a front row seat to real life coaching in real time with coaches who are a lot like you. What they're doing is building a sustainable business in today's market, in today's world, and a business that not only meets their needs and thrives, but really makes a difference for the people that they serve. So my guest today is Adriane Dellorco. Adriane, the work she does is so important. I can't wait to have this conversation. She helps women with chronic migraine take back their lives with a whole person approach that combines physical support, emotional support, and lifestyle support so that they can live a full life even as they're managing their migraines. So Adriane, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Dallas, for this opportunity. I'm super excited to be here.
We've had a few conversations inside the Hive over the last few months, and I know how much you care about helping women who struggle with migraines. So I'm just really grateful that you're here, and I'm excited to help you with your messaging in any way that I can.
Wonderful. Yes. And I have migraine too. So I get it from both angles. I'm helping my clients with something I also struggle with.
Yeah, that was so interesting on a Hive call kind of earlier on this year. Remember, we were talking a bit about messaging, and there were so many Hive members who were like, "Hello, that's me. I can do voice of customer
Yes. And
interviews with
actually, that was
you."
one of the most beneficial things so far of being in the Hive is having those connections. And the other members were so generous in their time, like sharing, hey, this is my experience of migraine. Like, this is what I feel. And I absolutely used their comments, their
That's
thoughts
cool.
into shaping how I am messaging. So I was so grateful for them and their generous time
Yeah.
and energy.
It's a cool group. It's a really cool group, and I'm glad you're a part of it. So, all right, let's dig in here. If I could wave a magic wand and solve a big issue for you, what would we be solving together?
Yeah. So I have been coaching since 2021 and having growth in my business, helping more and more women with migraine with a coaching program. And then in the last year and a half, I added a lower ticket membership program and felt like things were feeling steady. And then
Hmm.
this year, things changed. And I'm not sure whether it's the economy, the trust recession, what have you. But it has definitely been more of a struggle to engage people online, to bring people into my programs. And so I've been looking at changing my messaging. But I think a big theme I've noticed in interviews with people and also seeing who are the people that are joining my programs is building that trust and really trying to dial in on that and bringing that more into how I can bring more people into what I do.
So tell me more about this trust gap as it applies to your audience and the problem that you're helping them solve.
I think naturally people with migraine, especially the people I work with who have more chronic migraine, they have already probably tried a zillion things. So they're understandably a little more skeptical to begin with. And I'd say especially more mind body approaches. What is unique as well about what I do is I I'm one of the world's leading experts in yoga for migraine. So that is a big part of what I do, but not the only thing. So I incorporate yoga, I incorporate pain reprocessing therapy, which is a newer mind body approach, but really trying to build more of a personalized biopsychosocial approach where what work I don't use one method.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes harder to maybe convey. I'm not here just showing up with like the XYZ thing and it works for everybody. Like I really recognize migraine isn't a one size fits all. But I think that's a strength as well. So
It sure makes messaging harder, though.
yeah, kind of
Right?
like I take that multi-pronged approach, which is a strength, but like how do I make that
Hmm.
clear?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think people are a little just burnt out. Many people with chronic migraine, especially, they might not be able to work as much as they like or work at all. So finances can be a struggle for many of them. They're they're tired, they're exhausted. Like if people are familiar with living with chronic illness, we talk about having enough spoons, like enough energy to just do the day-to-day thing. And so, yeah, doing a program at all can feel like, oh, I don't have energy. Or what if it doesn't work? Or so there's a lot, underlying, I think, of people's life experience with living with a chronic condition that
Yes.
makes it hard to trust and, invest and commit to something when they might not even trust like they could keep up with it.
Okay, so I'm going to reflect what I heard. What I heard you say was with your audience, there are a few trust factors at play here. One is trusting you and your methodology.
Mhm.
This is not their first rodeo. They have tried other things. So that's a big ask for them. In particular, and this is a story I'm making up, so I want to check in. They've been sold some sort of a magic pill in the past that did not deliver the way they hoped. So they're like, it's less about trusting you and more about the industry or the circumstance that they're in and the disappointment that they have been managing. And then there's this self trust. I don't like saying that because if we, but I'm going to use that frame. It's like, will my body, will my capacity be able to support the actions that are going to be required of me inside of this program? And that's also a big ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Got
you
it.
got it.
So when you think about earlier on in 2021 or 2022, where before I ask that question, I have one more clarifying question. You said things have gotten more challenging. Has that been top to bottom? Like attracting leads and building your list is also more challenging, or is it really on the converting into clients
Yeah.
side of the funnel?
Believe it or not, I continue to have growth with social media, with my email list. That actually hasn't been the concern. I also run Facebook ads to my Facebook group, and
Mm-hmm.
that's for years been a very reasonably affordable way to get new leads. And in the past, many of those people have gone on to be, paying clients. So yeah, that thankfully is not a challenge, but I'd say the conversion is what has shifted. I think it's even online, whether it's my Facebook group or doing even like I used to do free challenges, just like even free things. Like there might be people that show up, but it's not. That has even drifted down. I'd say
Yeah.
even like the show up rate to do free things like that. I'm just finding it harder to like connect more individually, whether that's with DMs or, comments. Like those connections seem a little harder to make lately.
Yeah. Got it. So that's the problem we're going to try to solve together
Yeah.
today.
Sounds
So
good.
I know you have a bit of a working theory on why your business is in the season that it's in and why connections feel harder to make. Can you share that theory as a starting off point for us today?
I do feel like I joined the online coaching world probably at one of the peaks. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I benefited from that and I didn't have anything else to compare to. So it felt like, hey, I'm growing, like things are good. People during the pandemic, unfortunately, we're home more and we're doing more things online. So I think I came in at a good time and probably things might have be evening out at this point. And I do feel like what many people refer to as the trust recession online. I am feeling that in my own business, whether and that's so many reasons like AI slop, just people being OD'd with social media, understanding like that there are more ways to connect that aren't online, and for so long for many years that was the way we connected during COVID. So people's energy is a little more spread out.
Yeah.
And the economy might have shifted with that.
There's also like a very uncertain political climate,
Mhm.
in particular in the US, but that ripples out to be global. So there's just this like the vibes are not
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, I think it
Okay.
all
Yeah.
adds to it. And then I'd say with that, maybe as a result of some of the early marketing for coaching that
Mm-hmm.
was so focused a little more aggressively and more on like results, results, you're gonna get this, and I promise that. And I felt like I was a little more in that marketing style as I was trained.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked for a bit, and I do think those messages, especially for my audience, felt like less and less effective, and people didn't necessarily trust, like, and I never promised I'm gonna cure anyone, not like that. But, I do offer, like, people can generally do get a 50% improvement in their migraine working with me. But I'm finding, like, the results are not necessarily what everybody's striving for. Like, they wanna feel better.
Yep.
They wanna do it in a way that feels manageable. They wanna feel supported. They're not so much looking at, like, that end goal. It's like, "How do I feel good and safe doing that?"
Right. And I can imagine that if you're living with migraine, you know that you're living with migraine. So for
Mhm.
you to even tell me there's going to be a 50% increase or decrease in my symptoms,
Sure.
yeah, that might be true next month, but what about 3
Yeah.
years from now? So
Yeah.
there's this not skepticism, but the reality of what it looks like to live with a chronic illness diagnosis.
Yeah, it's very individual, and I think it can be hard. I do have a lot of wonderful testimonials, and
Mhm.
many people have benefited. But even then, some people, might see those and, like, oh, nice for them. But I'm different. Like, it probably
Yeah.
won't work for me, or so it's tricky.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. So, would you like to tackle like the messaging angle or the messaging mechanisms today? Those are weird words. So, do
Yeah.
we need to talk more about the the message itself, or
Hmm.
do we need to talk about the different ways you're delivering that message? So, your email marketing strategy and your social
Yeah.
strategy, which one is calling your
Yeah.
name?
I think whatever would support best in the conversions. So I'd say probably over the years has been more effective is my email marketing, my
Mhm.
Facebook group. Uh, and initially, what also helped earlier on was my connections to other, like, migraine organizations.
Okay.
And I feel like I want to kind of get back to building more from the base of, like, those connections of people, believing in, hey, I'm working with this organization, like, you're a solid person.
Yes.
I wonder if some of what's happening too is over the years kind of getting leads that are, don't necessarily, like, have the same rapport or trust
Yeah.
that someone, from a migraine organization I worked with, might have with me.
Yes, got it. So getting back to relationship marketing
Yeah.
and kind of leveraging that halo effect, where if
Mhm.
you're associated with an organization that someone with migraine trusts, that
Mhm.
trust is reflected onto you as well.
Yeah. Those personal connections, I think I
Yeah.
need to bring back.
Yeah. I would love to offer a like a messaging angle, and then maybe we can map out a plan
Mhm.
kind of modeled after client surge only in theme
Mhm.
about how to reintegrate a strategy with leveraging organizations. I think
Hmm.
that's really
Yeah.
smart. So there is this isn't I don't like this quality in myself, but it is one that I possess. And that quality is I don't like cheap things. I don't like buying things on sale. I just don't trust them. I don't like it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm that kind of buyer.
Yeah.
And I will often see at the Instagram algorithm also knows I'm that kind of buyer. So I will see these ads that say something like, this protein is too expensive. And I'm immediately like, oh, yes, click, right? So, but I like this sort of pattern interrupt
Mhm.
of messaging where they're taking it's not even honest, like a exaggerated, honest approach
Mhm.
to get my attention, but also speak to my buying persona.
Mhm.
So as I was thinking about that, I wondered if part of how we leverage referrals, position on your website, all the things, is if you really own you know what? I'm never going to fully cure your migraine. That is
Mhm.
not how this works.
Right.
I'm not. So you go extremely in the other direction from a lot of the messaging they've probably heard in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do lean into that a little bit in my welcome sequence. I think I have an email kind of really talking to that, like, yo, I'm not here to sell you the cure. Yeah, something to that effect. Like
Hmm.
we've been our, this isn't our first rodeo. Yeah, but we could definitely bring that in more.
Yeah, like what would it look like if you actually led with it?
Hmm.
So imagine, let's just maybe use a Facebook ad as an example,
Yeah.
right? So take me through essentially the angle you're using now, and then let's talk about the quality of lead that might
Mhm.
change if we really went all in on this
Yeah.
realistic or brutally honest pattern.
Mhm.
Let's call it the pattern interrupt
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah. For years, it's been pretty simple. There's an image of me lying down doing yoga, and it's really like, hey, do you want to dramatically reduce your migraine using a mind body approach? I've got this free Facebook group. We offer da 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 da. Click here.
Mm-hmm.
And my leads generally like $1.50 to $2. So, and I get, email. So it's not just to the Facebook group.
Yeah,
I
you
capture
get
the
their
lead.
email address.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the quality of lead isn't converting.
Yeah. That's been curious because I, I would eventually get people who would join my program from those leads. And yeah, that's one question like, did that shift? Could that be part of it?
Okay, we're going to go down this path, which is a different path from where we started. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. I would love to challenge you to test your approach to ads.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of promoting a free Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
my own bias around Facebook groups is about to reveal itself. So we'll get there in a second. What if you sold a $9 or a $29 resource? So the leads you're bringing in will be fewer, but these will be buyers from the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
your relationship with them is less free support group where you can come and commiserate
Mm-hmm.
and more, let's invest in a solution togetire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
And
you tested something like that?
I have not, but I do have a little program that I kind of made as a tripwire
Mm-hmm.
from the free Facebook group bit. And it's a $7, I call it the migraine flare toolkit. And so it is trying to like, hey, you have a bad migraine attack. Here are like 3 simple practices. Just listen and have this as a resource. So that instead of it, being on the back end, it could be on the front end of that.
I would love to see you swap those two things.
Mm.
I think the quality of lead will
Hmm.
dramatically change for
Yeah,
you.
that would be a good test.
And my bias around Facebook groups is often they are places. I remember years ago, a friend of mine had frozen shoulder.
Mm.
And she was in this like Facebook group for people with frozen shoulder. And she thought, I need to get out of here because this makes me feel worse
Right.
every time I'm here. So I just wonder if it's attracting a certain kind of,
Hmm.
if we think about the awareness ladder, right, where
Yeah.
people are either pain aware, problem aware, or solution aware,
Hmm.
advertising something that they invest in from the beginning, they're solution aware.
Hmm. Hmm.
Advertising something that's free support, people are pain aware.
Yeah.
In this circumstance, literal
Right.
pain aware,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
can we put that on your list of things to
Yeah.
test?
Yeah.
I'm glad you already have that asset in place,
Right.
just swapping it out.
Okay. Go
The
for
other thing I heard, and you're always free to say no. This is just a suggestion. But I heard you say earlier that you take this biopsychosocial approach. There's not a one size fits all solution to
it.
this. But I wonder if, from a messaging and marketing perspective, if you got more narrow,
Right.
if it would actually move people
Mm-hmm.
further along in your funnel.
Yeah.
And what I wrote down was like literally yoga for migraine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What thought have you given to really leading? So we're leading now with the pattern interrupt of, guess what? I'm not going to cure your migraines,
Yeah.
right? Anyone promising you that
Right.
is not to be trusted,
Yeah.
right? But number 2, we can start with yoga for migraine
Mm-hmm.
so that you start feeling better and have the tools to reset, et cetera, et cetera. Have you thought about that?
So I've actually swung both ways. So I started with yoga as that was the only thing I did. Yoga for
Yeah.
migraine. I mean, that is my business name. And then, and I, worked on getting yoga students. Then I shifted more to coaching and then incorporated more and studied and trained in this approach that's more of what's called like a brain retraining approach called pain
Mm.
processing therapy. And then I feel like I really led with that because the time some of my previous coaches were like, oh, you can get yoga like on YouTube. Like, why would someone invest, a
Mm.
lot of money to do that with you? But the brain retraining, like that's more unique. And so I had more of that of the focus.
Yeah.
And so now I don't know. I feel like now I'm kind of in the middle. Really, all of it leads to the same place. Like we're learning to calm our nervous system. As we do that, our migraine gets better. So that's the bit where I keep
Hmm.
going back and forth in
My
different
my
areas.
wheels are just turning over here. Again, we're just brainstorming,
Yeah.
right? We're really trying to bridge this trust gap. And there's a few things I'm noticing. Number one, we talked about your ads, and maybe now this model of pulling people in for free things, we're like building a relationship where people are there for the free things.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got something to test there.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece around the brain training, I don't disagree
Mm-hmm.
with the perceived value of those two things.
Yeah.
What's present for me is you say yoga, and I know what that is. Brain training, I
Mm-hmm.
don't quite know what that is. Will it work for me? It like brings up more question marks.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's room to use the word yoga more liberally,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where we're going to start with yoga for your body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we're actually going to do some yoga for your brain,
Mm-hmm.
like bending, twisting, stretching, strengthening your brain,
Mm-hmm.
and then yoga for your life. So using the term yoga as a metaphor for this three multi-prong approach that you take.
Yeah.
But I think someone attracted to yoga,
Mm-hmm.
we know what that means,
Right.
right? It does so much of the work, the marketing work for you,
Yeah.
but it's also a characteristic, right, of your buyer. Not the literal yoga, but being attracted to that
Sure.
holistic
Mm-hmm.
word.
Yeah.
So I would want to encourage you to play around with like really owning
Mm-hmm.
yoga as a metaphor for this.
Yeah.
Just what's coming up for you as you hear me say that?
Yeah. It is it's always like that balance because I think with my audience, a lot of people with migraine, they think yoga and they're like, I can't do that. I can't have a
Oh.
dog. I can't like do what they do in the gym, at a studio. And a big part of what I've done over the years is like a big part of my messaging has been like, actually, it's not yoga is not just what you think.
Mm,
So, I share yoga for high pain days and low pain days to really like express, hey, yoga can change for your symptoms. It won't trigger your symptoms. So some of it is like having my education of my audience is like, no, you can do yoga too. Like it's actually going to help, not always make it worse. So yeah, that's one aspect of this.
oh, Adriane, you got advice from someone with zero experience with migraine.
That's okay.
So of
Yeah,
course you're right. Of course it's just going to immediately feel like work
right.
rather than for me, I'm like, oh, yoga, I can relax.
Yeah.
It's totally different. So thank you for course correcting me there.
Yeah, and that's where that education comes in, where I'm really trying to encourage people like that this is doable. The
Yeah.
way I teach it is enjoyable, it's manageable, it won't make things worse.
Great.
Yeah, but it is
Okay.
nuanced.
Yeah, right. All right. So addressing the issue they have of trust in you or the solution you're providing
Mm-hmm.
based on the the dream client interviews you've done recently. What is the primary angle you plan to take to address that trust concern? And then we'll talk about the one around like, do I have the capacity?
Yeah. So what I've been testing out this month is promoting my lower ticket membership, which really is more of a focus on like here are yoga practices that work for migraine. It's not a coaching program. And what I have leaned into more with this is a place to go where when you don't know what to do, when you're overwhelmed, like trying to make all of it sound like an easy lift,
Mm-hmm.
something that is supportive, not that's going to take more out of you. So
Right.
I think that's what I keep, shifting to more of like a little bit more of a softer support network. And then I do want to make sure that the coaching program, though, it does remain more of it is a transformative, like we're going to get your life back, but still trying to make it feel and sound doable to people that,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not sure if I absolutely tackled what we were what you were asking, but
Great.
that's something I'm shifting is a little less results driven, but more like you can do it. This is manageable. This is going to feel good. Something I've been testing out is this idea of like so much migraine treatment is not pleasant. Like you get injections, you get needles, you get side effects. Like none of this feels pleasant. And I'm trying to share what I do as like, this is really feels good. And you deserve to have some treatment for your migraine that feels good too.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So addressing the trust gap when it comes to the solution, the angle you're taking, number one, is I'm not, is we're going to do a pattern interrupt,
Hmm.
right? There is no magic pill,
Right.
but you can still feel, you can still have relief
Hmm.
without getting injections, without like causing harm.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
even that you need even something to balance all that out. I'm not a replacement for medical treatment and
Right.
I don't want people to stop doing what they're doing in terms of that. But hey, let's balance out all this stuff that's hard on your body, like unpleasant, and have something that feels good and give you coping skills and like tools to make living with migraine easier. I think that's a
Yes.
message shift I've been going towards is making this easier, less overwhelming,
Yes.
giving you more energy,
Yeah.
and not necessarily talking all as much about this will take your migraines down if I have.
Yeah. Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
Because you actually do have a track record. You have the data to prove
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
people have
on
a
average.
dramatic decrease in
Yeah.
the frequency and the
Mhm.
intensity. So that's
Yeah.
really annoying that that doesn't work. What's the name of the membership?
So the membership is the Migraine Self-Care Circle.
Mhm.
My signature coaching program is called Beyond Migraine.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, great. I almost want to see you play around with like living easier with migraine
Yeah.
or feel better with
Mhm.
migraines.
Yeah.
So it's a little more clear. But okay, so now we've got this trust piece, which I think is probably the bigger trust gap, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
And that is not another thing.
Mm.
Can my body even, like, can I even show up?
Mhm.
What is your plan for addressing that side of I'm calling it self trust, but it's almost like migraine trust or capacity
Mm.
trust. Let's call it
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely shifted at least for the membership like, hey, this is easy. Even if you don't do it every day, you'll still get a benefit. Like, really just lowering the stakes. Like, just do a 5-minute thing and like it's still worthwhile. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
In terms of my coaching program, the way it's been set up for the last few years, it's been an 8-week, more of a focused coaching intensive. And then as part of the whole investment, I have been including an additional 10 months of basically like being in my membership all in.
Okay.
But I am going to shift that. That's one thing I do want to shift for my next launch in the fall to make it again that commitment feel a little less heavy because people think
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I don't know if I can do a year-long thing. Well, really, it's kind of like a bonus, like ongoing maintenance for 10 months. So I have been thinking of just like here, it's the 8-week thing,
Yep. Yes.
reducing the rate as a result because it is shorter, and then they can add the membership, as an add-on later because I am definitely
Hmm.
finding right like the customers you have are easier to sell to. And that's
Oh,
been a thing, like, hands down, I just booked the fastest thing I've ever sold. For the first time, I'm creating an in-person retreat for my previous clients. That was like the easiest thing I've ever sold. It just like filled up in a week and
Yeah.
was awesome.
Of
So
course, because they already know the value. I say this all the time. It's so much easier to keep a client than it is to find a new one,
yeah. So I
right?
need to lean into that more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the plans that I want
Yeah.
to try
I
for
think that's so
this.
smart. I think that's so smart, Adrienne. One of the things we changed with the Hive was removing that year-long commitment. And
Mm-hmm.
here, and the reason was people didn't, the coaches coming into the Hive were so laser focused on like, let me fill my private client roster, that
Mm-hmm.
when we said it's a year-long commitment, they understood that to mean it's going to take me a year
Mm-hmm.
just to find some clients. No, thank you. That's not what's delivered in the Hive, but that's how
Right.
they understood it.
Yeah.
So, what a smart adjustment to make it easier to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they're getting started and they're feeling better, it's like so much easier to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have some feedback for you, and I don't know if this is in your copy or if it was just in our conversation. I would strongly suggest that you remove the word easy
Mm.
from any of your marketing.
Ooh. Tell me about that.
I'm taking this pretty intense AI training course, and the person delivering it is great. And she's super tech savvy and really loves AI.
Mm-hmm.
So someone in the chat after one of these calls wrote, "This is overwhelming. I don't even know if it's worth it." And the coach's response to that, I was like, ooh, I could help her. Because she said, it's not hard. It's actually really easy. All you need to do is be a lifelong learner. And I was a little bit like, okay, there's a recipe for feeling invisible,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to someone whose lived experience up until this moment has been migraine is unpredictable. It might be easy for one day, but it's actually not easy. It's
Right.
too easy for them to feel dismissed.
Right.
So even naming that, like, I am not going to tell you that this is easy.
Right.
I am going to tell you it's simple and doesn't require more than 4 minutes a
Yeah.
day to feel even a little bit better. So I
Mm-hmm.
would do a quick audit of all of your messaging and get easy out of there.
Okay.
Get rid of easy, get rid of fast, because it just feels like that does not line up with their experience.
Right. What about kind of that idea of like we're making migraine easier, or is that
Yes.
different?
Yes. Easier is
Yeah.
different than like in
Yeah.
4 easy steps. It's like,
Right.
no.
Okay.
I can't even take one step right now. So
Yeah.
don't tell me it's easy.
Yeah. Good.
And also just narrating. Like I would love to see in your copy, and then we'll shift gears and talk about your strategy a little bit here. Just even narrating, oops, there I go again. Like I just called it easy. You and I both know that it is an up and like it's a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
There are days when it feels easy and there are days when it feels really, really hard.
Yeah.
The circle is here for all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you expressing your own commitment to being there for them no matter what,
Right.
I think will also be a powerful shift.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do want to reserve some time for talking about leveraging organizations.
Yeah.
Can I summarize what we've covered so far? Because I think you have some
Sure.
action steps here.
Yeah.
Action step number 1, we're going to switch up your ads to sell a $7 product and then test it. What happens when you sell it for $27? Like, what is the magic number there?
Yeah.
The tripwire to that can be to join the membership,
Okay.
right? And then once they're there, like, sure, maybe get them into the Facebook group or maybe not. But I really have faith that that's going to bring in way fewer leads,
Yeah. Okay.
so way more qualified leads.
Interesting. Okay.
So are you up for testing that?
Yeah. Any advice on what kind of ad to run, whether it's like a video or so far I've just been doing like a simple graphic, but I don't know what's working lately.
Yeah, I would test 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
One, a simple graphic,
Mhm.
right? Like maybe even the same one because you know it works. Because if we change too many things, it's really
Right.
hard to know
Mm-hmm.
what worked and what didn't, right? So maybe you keep that same graphic,
Okay.
but the message is something similar to this protein powder is too expensive,
Yeah.
right? Like, what would that be? What would a pattern interrupt be
Mhm.
before you had all these tools? And Matt, put yourself back in the early days with
Yeah.
migraine. What would have caught your attention?
Mhm. Hmm. I'm gonna have to sit with that one a bit. But yeah, something like a little counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it could be like, this won't cure your migraine. Like,
That's what I was thinking, just
yeah,
to test it, right?
yeah,
This won't cure your migraine, but it
right,
might make you feel
right,
a little bit better every day.
right.
Just like that would get my attention.
Yeah.
Like, right? So let's test that.
Okay.
The second thing is action item is to go through your website, your ad copy, and
Mhm.
we're taking the word easy out of it
Mhm.
and leaning even more into I'm not going to tell you that your migraines will be cured.
Right.
You're smarter than that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But what I am going to tell you is we can help you feel a little bit better every day. And then so the easy piece is how we address the capacity trust.
Mhm.
And then the trusting in your process, we're going to take that pattern interrupt approach
Mhm.
and attract buyers from the beginning instead of assuming this old model of warming people up with free stuff before they're ready to buy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you want to address around those small messaging tweaks before we spend a little bit of time looking at how to leverage organizations?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, and I think
Okay.
I at that point too where it's, yeah, organizations, and I it's been on my back burner for a while, but probably podcasts, I get like to do what I'm doing here, and building that more intimate trust, I think could be helpful.
There's a Hive member. Her name is Sarah Louise Lilly. Hi, Sarah. Sarah was on the show. This is so full circle. I don't know, a long time ago, and we crafted a podcast pitching strategy for her. She does emotional freedom technique, so
Mhm.
tapping
Yeah.
for equestrians.
Wow.
So horseback riders who are suddenly like maybe they had a bad fall and are afraid to get on their horse. Like there's a big fear that they need to overcome to literally get back in the saddle.
Mhm.
And every time, I think it's literally every time that she is a guest on someone's podcast, she gets client inquiries like
Mhm.
clockwork. So I think the work you do is totally different, but yet it's also of the same ilk,
Yeah.
right? I think podcast pitching would be a brilliant strategy for you. So people can hear the sincerity of your voice and
Mhm.
learn more about your journey and really the mindset of your approach.
Mhm.
So when you mentioned that, were you mentioning getting on other people's podcasts?
Right. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So there's training inside the Hive.
Oh, good.
I'll highlight a little bit for our listeners, but you'll jump into lazy list building. The way that course is organized is it's by like the frequency of the actions you will take.
Okay.
Podcast pitching is in the once a month category.
Mhm.
What I want you to take a look at specifically is my model for how to pitch,
Okay. Great.
because what I have seen work really well and what gets my attention is when you identify the gap you want to fill or the contribution you want to make to the conversation already happening on the show.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I wouldn't focus on migraine specific podcasts.
Okay.
I would focus on like women's health
Yeah.
podcasts.
Okay. Yeah, migraine is one of the most common health conditions, so it's
Yeah.
really
Yes.
can reach many people, especially women. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, how can I be helpful around getting you on your strategy for leveraging organizations?
So in the past, I felt like I had some more connections with some organizations. One organization I worked with, they did this wonderful in-person retreat migraine, and fortunately they're not doing that anymore. Another one had this like mindfulness for migraine online program that I was a part of, and they're not doing that anymore. So some of the things that organizations were doing that I was connected with no longer are. And so um, and I do migraine advocacy I advocate on with Congress for migraine, so I'm still doing some things, but yeah, trying to figure out like how can I reconnect, do more of that because I would like to anyway, but also just for those connections, that networking,
Yeah.
bringing back some of that because I feel like that did lead to a lot of early success personally.
Yeah. I wonder if, well, just because these organizations aren't doing these events anymore for you to come
Mhm.
in doesn't mean they don't want to help their people. So,
Sure.
what if the approach was asking them if they would like to partner or sponsor, whatever
Mhm.
language resonates
Mhm.
for them,
Yeah.
in an event you're hosting?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, you mentioned early in our conversation, I can't even remember if we were recording yet or not, that you used to do some sort of like free 5-day challenge or something like that.
Mhm.
Am I remembering that?
Yeah.
Could you turn that into, it doesn't even have to be a live event,
Mhm.
but turn
Mhm.
that into something these organizations agree
Yeah.
to promote?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I wonder if the approach would be, I know you're not hosting your in-person retreat anymore,
Mhm.
but I think there's a way I can still support your community.
Right.
How would you feel about picking a week in the next 90 days that works for
Mhm.
your email schedule, right? And promoting this 5-part training I will host live for your
Mhm.
community. So they're almost like white labeling
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
event. So this would be a
Yeah.
list build,
Yeah.
right? And also this experiential marketing, because
Mhm.
they're dropped right into an experience with you, literally,
Yeah.
which just converts so much quicker
Mhm.
because it's trust like in the
Yeah.
snap of a finger.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, because that is a question. I'm like, do I just like tell them, hey, I want to volunteer? But I like the idea of if like making it more specific to what I already do and being
Yeah.
clear what I do and volunteer in what I do.
Yes. And it's such an easy yes for them. It's a much lower
Mhm.
lift than
Mhm.
figuring out, okay, so how do we bring Adrian in and who's
Yeah.
in charge of that? Now we got to organize it. They just
Yeah.
have to cut and
Put
paste
it on their
four
yeah.
emails and
Yeah.
fire it off, right?
Yeah. Like
Okay, so what if you were to take this mission on, what what are like the first 3 steps and what if any questions do you have for me about implementing it?
right. Hmm. I think I'd probably just need to figure out the timing. So everything that I've done so far this year is like, okay, prepping for my fall launch for the
Yes.
program.
Right.
So and that would be in September, end of September. So I think it's where I'm at is like, okay, I've kind of promoted my current
Yep.
membership. That's been this focus, testing out some of the messaging. And now, what is my best steps from here towards September to
Yes.
make this a strong launch?
Yeah. What's the plan for like the launch mechanism? How are you planning on launching in September?
Yeah. So in May, I tested out doing like a free workshop and got about 100 signups for that. And
Mhm.
during the workshop, there's good engagement. So one idea is like maybe doing another free type workshop or could be paid now that we've been talking about doing
Yeah.
something like that. I have done webinars in the past, felt like the effort for the ROI was not super
Mhm.
strong. But yeah, I guess I don't have anything brand new and fancy to do it,
No.
but really, like, my emails and my socials, I do find that having a long like, not a short, like, 1 week enroll, every day I email, I don't feel like that works well for my people, but, like, a longer lead into it seems to be better.
Yeah, that makes sense to me because if it's like a 3-week or 4-week
Mm,
cart open window, I'm going to have a couple of good days in there.
yeah. And one big thing I should run by you that I was thinking of shifting thus far, I've pretty much always had people do discovery calls to join my program, my coaching
Mhm.
program. Sometimes I have listed the pricing, some years I hadn't. Uh, and as part of that, making it an easier lift, I'm gonna thinking of having the option where you could just register from the sales page with an option to book a call to just it's good to know this is the right fit and have that. So yeah, maybe I should see what you think of that shift.
Yeah, I love that idea. I have thoughts. And then I
Mhm.
want to just map out a possible plan for your fall launch. But we're just covering all the ground today.
Yes, thank you. This is awesome.
So this is just so interesting because for my audience, this would backfire. For
Mhm,
your audience, my instinct tells me it's a good idea, which
mhm,
would be on the sales page, right? Like ready to join, go
mhm,
here.
mhm,
Need to have a conversation first,
mhm.
go here.
Right. That's kinda what I'm
Uh,
thinking too.
yeah, I think so. Just because they might have questions or they might
Yeah,
not be feeling well, or, who knows? I think it's definitely worth testing.
yeah. So one thing that I've wondered is having to book that call when people are not feeling well. Am I gonna have to cancel the call? Sometimes people do cancel the call. Like, has that just been another impediment to, like, make obstacle to get into the program and get help?
What if you replace the call with an asynchronous conversation using a
Mhm.
tool like Video Ask?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you joined the Hive and
Mhm.
like the last step was say hi to me?
Mhm.
And I think it was audio. Did you record an audio? Does that feel?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Video Ask for our listeners is I use it a lot. I love it so much. It's created by Typeform. A lot of you have probably seen it or are using it, but it's essentially you can record a video that's its own funnel where someone can respond to the video, writing, audio, or on camera,
Mhm.
asking you questions. So what if it was like join here, like have a question first, ask away on your time, on your own time. Like I'm not going to make you book a call with me.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to book a call. We
Mhm.
can like talk about this, and to
Yeah.
say asynchronously is probably not the best language,
Right.
but right?
Yeah.
I love Video Ask and people love it. Now
Mhm.
here's a secret with Video Ask. Always reply on camera.
Okay.
It's so interesting because I use it as a sales path too. And people they'll send their first question and it'll be typed out. When I reply with a video, they will reply with a video.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
talk about trust, right? Like here's a person, I'm replying with their name, I'm answering their direct question. So
Mhm.
you could have these asynchronous sales conversations.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I love testing this for your audience. And
Mhm.
I think Video Ask is well worth the investment. And it's such a great way to bring all the benefits that come from a sales conversation
Mhm.
and bring that in a format that feels like less pressure for people.
Yeah.
Can I pitch a launch roadmap for you?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so we're recording this on June 25th. By the time the episode drops, we're probably going to be into August. But today is June 25th. You're doing your September launch. Did you say that you keep the cart open for a month, or did I just make that up when I was listening to you say you have this longer enrollment
Yeah,
window?
for the coaching program, yeah, I'd probably start advertising it, like, a month or ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to use, you may change your dates, but I'm just going to use the month of September as my
Perfect.
example when we're talking here, right? So in the month of September, the first thing that happens, maybe after Labor Day,
Mhm.
is your 5-day challenge.
Mhm.
Bring it back,
Okay.
right? This is the
Mhm.
thing starting in August that you're promoting to your list.
Mhm.
Even your ads can make this shift. You're
Mhm.
promoting it in the Facebook group. And here's the difference. Instead of just come to this free thing,
Mhm.
right? Full stop. It's we're opening enrollment for the coaching program,
Mhm.
right? To kick things off, come and join me
Okay.
in a free 5-day challenge. So you can start to really understand the philosophy. You can start to feel better right away and really get
Mhm.
the experience you're going to need to know whether or not the coaching program is for you when the doors open.
And this wouldn't necessarily be with an organization at this point,
Oh,
right?
it will. Yes. Okay. So here's my next point. From now until September, you're
Mhm.
reaching out to these orgs, asking
Mhm.
them to promote the 5-day challenge.
Mhm.
The messaging that they will share will be slightly different. It
Sure.
won't be, this is a preview. She's going to sell you her
Right.
coaching program. So do this. It'll just be like, here's someone we trust. And we want you to experience what it's like to use this whole body approach to feeling a little bit better every day. So the free, like the in lieu of coming and teaching at their retreat, like we talked about earlier, it's hey, I know you're not doing this anymore, but I found a way that I can still help your people. I'm hosting this event. Will you promote it?
Okay.
So far, so good. So that's phase 1. So we're promoting this 5-day, we're not even going to call it a challenge. We got to call it something else.
Sure.
But this 5-day event, you're going to really think through, like, how do I set this up so that people can participate easily without feeling pressure to come live or things are going away, blah, 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 blah. When that ends, you have an incentive or a bonus for challenge participants to sign up for coaching first. Right? And then you start selling coaching again to your whole list, not just people who signed up for the challenge. So phase 0 is getting these orgs to agree to promote, which feels for me like it'll be pretty easy because you have a relationship with them. Phase 1 is promoting the 5-day challenge to your list as the preview of what it's going to be like working with you. Phase 2, delivering the challenge.
Right.
Phase 3 is then you move into sales mode, emails, inviting people to hop on video ask and answer and ask any questions, really to decide if it's a fit for them.
Yeah. Nice.
So your month of September it'll be launch month.
Yeah.
And then I also wonder how you would feel about toward the end of cart closing. So if we're like a month long, the first week is the challenge, and then you've got like a week of sales emails. And then we move into a week of, I'm saying a week because I'm someone who sells a lot every week. So you'll adjust this piece, right? And then a week of selling, but also offering, come to this roundtable. I've invited 3 clients who have been through this process to come and talk about their experience. I'm going to answer
that roundtable last year. Now that you mention it, I did have one of those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How well did it perform for you?
Yeah, hard to tell, but I mean, it was a wonderful conversation, like great testimonials. In the fall, I did get a good group of clients, so I'm sure it all, helped.
Yes. So then we've got this roundtable, and it's really positioned as you're wondering if this is going to be worth it. You're wondering if you have the capacity. Right. So I'm going to answer any questions you have, but you're also going to hear from people just like you who have been through the program. They're going to give you they're going to talk about the highs and the lows to help you decide.
Yeah.
Which is different from come and like, here's success stories. We're really positioning it through the lens of this is here to help you decide. Okay. And then you'll have that final week of like last call, essentially.
Sure.
Before you go and rest because you just were in a launch for a whole month. Great. How does that feel?
Yeah, that sounds like, very thorough. Like we're kind of hitting a lot of angles. I guess one last little question. Do you
Sure.
feel like it would have the same benefit if I, instead of like the 5-day challenge, more of a one-time thing?
Yeah, I'm only suggesting the 5-day challenge because you mentioned you already had that made.
Right. Yeah.
If you are doing a one-time thing, I hate telling you to do this. Okay, I'm a maniac. But I would do it like every other day for a week.
Yeah.
Because like, what if the day you're hosting it, someone's having a bad migraine day?
Sure.
Right. So they like, I don't, let me think out loud here. It would be like from September 7th through the 14th, every day at noon. Pick any one day that works for you. I will be there. We're going to do a little bit of yoga. I'm going to talk about the philosophy. Our goal is to help you feel 15% better. But so I think you're going to need multiple days just to get people to come to one, right? But it could be the same thing you're delivering.
Yeah. Yeah, the 5-day challenges, those can be nice. I think there's definitely drop off by the end, and probably for my people especially. But I like that idea of like having multiple options for people.
Yeah. And just narrating that. Like, we don't know how your week's going to go, but hopefully you can join once over the course of these
Mm-hmm.
6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Okay. So what are you taking away from our conversation?
Yeah. I think is leveraging all these, putting it together where like, yeah, reconnecting with migraine organizations and helping them, but they're, yeah, helping me and wanting to make sure like, yeah, they don't feel like it's a commercial thing. That's
Mm.
sometimes I got to tread lightly there, but having more face-to-face time, like all of it is coming down to bringing in more trust, making people feel that this is doable so they can trust in having this, yeah, feel like they could do something like this and that it could
Yes.
benefit for them.
Yeah. Trust your process and trust their own capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to test the Facebook ad shift too.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is totally a theory, but I was just thinking about that as you were sharing. Perhaps advertising something for free, it could be attracting people like
Mhm,
freebie lovers,
mhm.
but also attracting like it could just seem too good to be true and suspicious. Like,
Yeah.
why are you paying to advertise for something that's free? Like, what's the
Mhm.
catch? So again, advertising something that people have to pay for, that's
Right.
less fishy.
Right. Mhm.
Interesting. All
Yeah.
right, you have to report back. I need to know what you
Well,
notice with
yes.
these ads.
I'm excited to, yeah, have some direction. So I really appreciate it.
Great. So I want to just narrate as we wrap up to the listener. Adrienne and I touched on a lot of things. We didn't really go deep in any one area, but how this might apply to you would be number one, where are there small gaps or incongruencies? Is that a word? With your messaging? Understanding that, how do we correct that? And then how do we take all of what can seem like disparate opportunities and angles, and how do we put them into one ecosystem so you feel momentum naturally in your marketing and your audience really experiences that, because nothing you're doing is siloed anymore. So we brought the messaging in, and then we talked about, okay, how does that then impact the ads? Okay, and then how then do we reconnect with these organizations
Mhm.
to support your launch? So we just really looked at it as a whole picture instead of like,
Mhm.
okay, what am I going to do today and what fire am I putting out? So I hope our listeners, I hope you take that away from my very inspiring conversation with you, Adrienne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for all your help, Dallas.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off here. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you back next week.